I'm coming at you from my patio in Canyon Lake today. It's quite hot, and the lake is actually not too bad. It's not super windy, but it's intermittently windy, and I don't know, for some reason I feel like and even though I normally always want to be on the water, for some reason today I don't. Um, Probably because I want you to hear this guy. It's funny, I told you guys I was going to speak about, can you hear him? Remember I told you I've got this little guy that's constantly singing to me? It's constantly been outside of my window talking to me. And he's been singing all night, which is a message to me just now. He's been singing during the day. He'll come up again. You'll hear him again while we're talking. I told you guys I was going to talk about the great blue heron, and I will. But I'm going to talk about him because he just spoke up just now. And it kind of goes along. There he is. Okay, so I thought I knew who he was, and I asked my Uncle Phil, who's so knowledgeable about birds and all kinds of things. I did a little video of him, and I said, who is this guy? Why is he always yelling at me? He's constantly singing, and I mean, I don't sleep very well, I told you guys that, and so he's been singing all night long, and yet, look at that little totem. And that one's talking. Did you hear how loud that was? Hummingbird. You will accomplish what may seem impossible to yourself or to others. Lighten up. That's the mockingbird. So it's a mockingbird. How to kill a mockingbird comes to mind because he never stops yelling at me. But when a totem keeps coming to you and is so vocal, you have to pay attention to what he's trying to say. Okay, so now I thought he was a mockingbird, but I didn't think we had mockingbirds in this area. And Uncle Phil said, oh no, it definitely is. And so the mockingbird is notable not for the way he looks, even though I think he's beautiful. It's because he is a mimic. He can copy so many other different other birds, but also other animals. He can sound like a dog. He can sound like a cat. There's a copycat going on in your life. That's the first message that pops to me. There's a copycat. Someone's copying you, or you are copying someone else, or trying to copy someone else, trying to fit in, or trying to copy someone's work because you don't want to do your own work. Beware of a copycat. Don't do this. Don't ride on somebody else's hard work. We all have to put in our own work. You may ride for a little while on someone's back. I keep hearing the words big dogs ride for free. And you might get a free ride for a while, but eventually it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to be expected to do your own work, or you're going to fall off that horse you're getting the free ride from, because you don't have the talent to hold on, because it's not your work that you're riding on. So there's that message. The mockingbird is also fearless about defending its territory. I wish he would come up so you could see him. He's so loud. And the fact that he is so loud is his message is saying, listen to what I'm trying to say to you. He's going to dive in and attack anything that trespasses his territory. So if somebody has been overstepping their boundaries, and they are claiming your work for their own, taking credit for your work, reaping rewards for what was yours, it's time for you to step in and defend what is yours. You step forward. If somebody is encroaching on your personal territory, you step in. It's time, because they're fearless. They want you to be very vocal about what is yours, and follow what it is that your own purpose is. They also teach you that you can mimic some aspects of others. So we always look at other people and we learn from them, right? Like my friends, I've got a spiritual community, so when my friends speak, I'll pick things up and I'll think, oh, you know what, I've been getting that too, or maybe that's something I need to incorporate. There's nothing wrong with that. You can take a little bit from everybody, and then you create your own path, right? So it's okay to take some things of your and make them your own, but not 100% completely. It also talks about So it talks about the ability to take other people's information and make it your own, which can be a good thing, but it also can be very debilitating, because if you are relying solely on other people for your information, you're not going to get very far in life, like we said. You know, eventually you're going to have to do your own work. And also, don't get caught up in somebody else's knowledge or somebody else's experience or somebody else's story and make that be solely your own. You need to rely on your own inner guidance. It's interesting because here's an example. I was listening just this morning, the segues into a friend of mine. She did a post this morning, and she was talking about how people get so reliant on their cards and on other people, on mentors, on I need to call in my guides, I need to call in my angels, I need to call in, you know, to do this for me and do that for me. When we are capable of doing this ourselves, we have our answers within ourselves. When the Bible said, do not be looking to the stars for your answers, do not be looking to fortune tellers of events, it wasn't saying that people that have these gifts are evil or looking and following this, you know, what was happening with the stars or the moon or lunar cycles was wrong. It's saying that we have our own answers within ourselves. We don't constantly have to be calling out and asking for someone else to give us our answer. What is your body saying? What is your own inner? You need to trust your own inner self. So it talks about trusting your own information because we're very incredibly powerful. We're very powerful beings. There's so many things that I need to talk to you guys about today. The deck, I was told to choose 4 cards, and I knew when I saw the deck that was chosen, I thought, oh, that's interesting because they're very short messages. But it's because there's so many other things that I needed to talk to you guys about. And so the Mockingbird is basically about following your own path, singing your own song from your own experiences. So it's fine to you know, pick up lessons and messages from other people, but we all have our own life's experiences, and we're all supposed to be learning our lessons from them. Now, if something that is being spoken about in someone else's life aligns with something that's going on in your life or rings a bell, you know, yeah, that's what's going on in my life, and that it applies to me. That's why whenever we do these readings, you know, someone will say, well, how could they all apply to everyone? Because there's something for everything. There's a little bit of something in each thing that we speak about for all of us. We can apply it somehow in our lives. So that's good. But it's definitely talking about trusting your own instincts and using your own intuition to sing forth your song and call it your truth. So that's the Mockingbird, and I needed to speak about that because he was so vocal, and I kept talking about him. I kept saying, who is this little bird? And I'm seeing the flycatcher, and I know that that's a swallowtail flycatcher. I don't know what particular type it is, but it's a flycatcher. Those little birds I kept talking about, and it's because there's a fly buzzing around, and the fly is somebody's meddling, somebody you're allowing something in. This is a story that Spirit gave me a while ago. They showed me. Actually, my twin soul, and I said I wasn't going to talk about him, and I do want you to understand when I speak about my twin soul, I'm not talking about the physical, I'm talking about the spiritual connection that I have with my twin soul. So he said to me in a dream, watch this, the door opened and a fly came in. When the fly came in, the cat started to chase the fly. Then the dog came in and started to chase the cat. And there was all this running around, and my mother, who's in spirit, said to me, shut the door, Sherry, the flies are coming in. When the fly comes in, it distracts the cat. When the cat starts running around, the dog starts chasing the cat, and it's just a disaster. So the flycatcher has been coming around because there's a fly loose. There's a fly that's distracting you, getting you off your path. I'm the cat. So that's a message. This cat has been chasing around after a fly, and it's annoying. Fly can be a good message, but for this particular message, we're talking about a fly catcher, so it's trying to remove that. And I'm going to speak now again about something that's happening energetically. There's so many things. I told you guys that I've had a really difficult time for the last 2.5 years. It has to do with my twin soul and our connection energetically. I've allowed, I did not realize how connected energetically we were. I do know that I wanted it and I allowed it. I remember he used to say to me, open up, I'm channeling you. And you know, he taught me how to channel. I didn't know that I was very good at it. I really didn't actually understand a lot of the gifts that I had or how powerful they were. And one of my gifts is prophetic dreaming, and that's what our next messenger is going to talk about, and I'm going to segue into that. Maybe I'll go into that right now, and then I'll come back to this, and you'll understand what's going on. And I've written it down because there's a lot. So I'm going to, let's see, shall I, maybe I'll turn you guys around so that you can just kind of take a look and see how beautiful things are around here while I talk. We're talking about the great blue heron, okay? Now, I've told you guys before, look at Lily, she's so exhausted, how the great blue heron is one of my totems, absolutely. And it's one of my twins as well. And you'll understand the connection psychically and energetically when I just talk to you about the color of the blue heron represents peace and tranquility. 1212 comes along, I make a wish. What I'm asking for is peace and harmony. Those are the things that I want, okay? So you think of that color. The blue heron, this is his lesson. It's a solitary bird, solitary person. They must find within themselves the ability to live in cooperative peace with others. So, but their lesson becomes finding peace and harmony within themselves first, okay? So, at first, the quest for harmony may be in establishing, maybe it's kind of like directing others, you know, directing others as a way to finding peace within themselves, failing to recognize that peace has to come within themselves first, right? So when they find themselves, when they find peace within themselves, then they're going to find that peace follows them. And the lesson is then going to be able, at that point, then they'll be able to help others. But at first, when it comes to them, and when they're younger, they feel like they have to control others in order to find peace within their own realm. They have to find inner peace first, and then once they are able to do that, then they carry a sense of peace and energy, and then they're able to teach and help others and share this. Okay, so there's going to be individuals who are going to use this. They're going to use their differences, because the blue heron, as I told you, they're very different. They stand on their own 2 feet. They're very one of a kind, unique type of people, very eclectic, and some of these ones are going to take this ability that they have to elicit change in the world around them. They're going to be people that are somewhat called rebels. They're revolutionaries. They want change in the world. These are the movers and shakers of the world. Okay, which is a positive. They may seem like they're disruptive. And when they're young, a blue heron person may look unusual. They may appear unusual. Maybe it's their mannerisms, maybe it's, there's something about them that's very unique and unusual, so they're going to find themselves ostracized by members of their own set. So they won't fit in. And now, as a blue heron at this point now in my life, I don't care about fitting in, and actually, I don't think I ever really did care, but a lot of people do. And so if you're a blue heron person, as a child, you don't fit in. You feel odd, you feel left out, you feel like ostracized, pushed out by people, made fun of possibly, awkward. You feel, so what happens when they find them, because you find yourselves feeling a little bit separated, or it shows that even your family members may distance themselves from you. They don't get you. They think you're weird. You know, they're strange. There's something wrong with him, and there's something wrong with her. I mean, it's just odd, because you don't fit. You don't belong. They don't understand you. And what's interesting is you don't understand them either. So they kind of push you out, your own family members. So at a very early age, you tend to separate yourself and live at a kind of an independent type life. Teenage blue herons could actually have a very painful time, because their appearance or behavior is going to be so awkward or so different that it sets them apart at a time when they're trying to fit in. And it's very, very painful. And they may be considered odd looking. If you look at a blue heron, they've got very long legs, long limbs. So when they're young, they may be young girls or boys that are very gangly in appearance. Maybe they're awkward, maybe they're clumsy, knock things down, break things. Like I said, they react differently. They don't express themselves the same as other people. They don't understand why they're different than everyone else. Then everyone else doesn't understand either. But it's a real bummer when it's within your own family that you're not understood. And you can imagine how painful. I've seen, I was always very little, and I was always very. I am a blue heron person, but I didn't have that feeling, the need to fit in. But I know a lot of people have this. But what's interesting is as they grow older, they're, even though these things that made them feel awkward or ridiculed when they were young, as they start growing into adults, these once odd, kind of gangly, strange-looking children turn into very beautiful, tall, graceful, very sought-after people. They have this energy, this magnetism, and they're able to draw people to them. They just have that it. And all of a sudden, it's kind of like the ugly duckling turning into the swan, right? And all of a sudden now they've got all of this attention, and they don't quite know how to handle that either. So they could be, it's not always physical beauty, but there's something that they have that's a draw. So then all of a sudden they've got this focus on them, and characteristics that were once very painful are now bringing all this unwanted attention on them. So now how do they handle that? The same thing happens about, and then they'll get to a place where they blend, and they'll get maybe, moving in stride. But then all of a sudden they have a spiritual awakening. And now they're going to go through this same awkwardness, because now they've got the same thing happening in a spiritual manner. They're going to have self-discoveries, and that they're not going to understand. They're not going to know how to work with it. And this is where we come into what's been happening with me. And I'll talk about this in a second. So these ones that have had this this awkwardness, and they've moved in, they've become, they've maybe been content to kind of watch from the outside. So these are going to be people who are, I'm going to sit down. I'll let you look that way. I'm going to sit. These may be people who are, they're content to kind of to observe more. They're observers. They step back. And they have now been able to possibly, it's not as pretty as it, stand. Now they've been able to maybe take what used to be awkward for them and turn it into an asset. Now they know, now they're observers, and they're able to sit back and they're able to watch, and they're able to, like I said before, a blue heron person is able to observe an opportunity where other people don't even see it. And not only are they able to observe it when they can't see, where others don't see it, but they're able to make something out of it. So these now have become very successful people. These people have known how to turn something into something wonderful. They transform their liability into an asset, and now their physical and their emotional and material has turned around, and it's come into a balance, right? So this blue heron person has to seek a balance spiritually as well. It's all about balance. You notice that they're related to the stork, and you can see the stork and the blue heron, they stand on one leg. So it's about finding the balance. Let's see. So what usually goes on with the blue heron individual is they're very peaceful, and they're very sensitive, and what they find in their lives, and because this is their lesson to seek balance, what they find is that because they have been rejected at a young age, they're trying to assert their independence. They're trying to find their balance through this. So they will literally search out ones who reject them. They will search out ones who reject them because they're trying to fix it. They're trying to, and they find that they are rejected by the ones that they love. And so then there's the fear and an expectation of that. Once that happens, because they've done this purposely, because this is the what is the word? The evolution of a process of growth. Of that's why we're here. My glasses keep sliding down my nose. It's driving me nuts. So because they're trying to find this balance, they're going to seek people that reject them. They're going to go after people. I know this. I've done this. And now when in their later life, when they've been rejected, and they'll find themselves being rejected by the ones that they love the most, as I said, and the ones that they trust the most, which is really, really damaging. So now, because this has happened, there's this fear and an expectation that this is going to be the case always now. So as soon as a bond of love or trust is formed with somebody else, they will reject, or they will feel like they're going to be rejected or betrayed, and they set themselves up. So the lesson is to learn how to heal and recognize that this was my life pattern. This is what's happened, but that doesn't mean that I can't change this. This was something that I drew to myself because it was a lesson of growth and learning. And I have gone my whole life, yes, I have been rejected by the people that I love the most. The people that should have been there for me, that I should have been able to trust, I have not been able to trust. It's been proven to me. So now when somebody comes to you and says that they love you and that you can trust me, you're like, right, I don't think so, because they've had nothing but painful experiences. And these lessons were there to teach them, to help them integrate so that they can find a sense of balance. But the problem is to either shut themselves off emotionally to avoid being hurt, or they will perpetually continue to choose people purposely that are going to hurt them over and over again. They're going to choose partners that will fulfill their expectation of betrayal, abandonment, and then there's another grouping that are of blue heron people that are very, very independent, highly independent from the beginning. This is more me, very, very independent. I was not the one that was worrying about fitting in with anyone else. I was very, very independent. The problem that they have, they're capable of handling any task, and they handle tasks so long as they're left alone to develop it, so they have to be on alone. Problem with that is they ignore interacting with other people. So we find people like me who are isolating themselves in towers, or who are working because they do well on their own. Their challenge is then to learn how to find the harmony between blending with people and being on their own. It's constantly the battle of balance, right? So the challenge becomes learning to find time spent alone and time connecting with others. And there's going to be like restlessness and unsatisfaction because you're not getting what you want in either case, right? You like to be alone, you like your private time, but you're missing something. You want to be with somebody, but then you don't trust them because you've been hurt before and you've been rejected or betrayed by the ones that you trust. And so you've got this constant battle going and dissatisfactions because you've got to find, and it's happening for a reason. We've got a balance a harmony that we need to find the balance in. We need to find the harmony, the balance in our lives so that we don't continue this cycle. So we have to temper it by embracing loving relationships. The relationships, the ones that do love us, allow them into our lives and allow our hearts to stay open. When we find that balance, then what comes? When you do find that you are allowing yourself to connect with somebody who actually truly does love you, and you actually finally allow yourself to open your heart and let this person in and recognize, I'm not going to be betrayed again. I'm not going to be, I've now chosen somebody actually who truly does love me. I'm going to open my heart. It's funny because this morning I needed to, I haven't slept in such a very long time, and I needed to get myself in the mood, for doing the reading today. And I have a pack of incense, and it's the chakras, all the chakras. And so I put my hand in and I choose, okay, well, which is the one today? And I put my hand in and I said, all right, which one is it? And it was the heart chakra. And I lit it and I said, okay, everybody, what we need to do is we need to open our hearts. We need to open our hearts. And I started walking around the room and I was talking, and I talk out loud. I told my landlord, I said, you hear me talking? I do this all the time. He's like, no, I get it. I understand. So I'm walking around my room and I'm saying, okay, even though we've been hurt before, even though someone's betrayed us, even though we've been, someone that we trusted took our trust and threw it out the window, I'm going to open up my heart. I'm going to allow love in again. I'm going to allow my heart to remain open. I'm not going to close it down in fear. I'm not going to I got what I heard, which was interesting, is vengeance is mine, says the Lord. It was in response to something I said, and as I was walking around, and at this moment I can't remember what it was that I said. I was saying, I don't know, keep our hearts open, and then that just came out. I don't know why, but I'm saying that because it might be something that somebody's dealing with right now. And the point is, let karma do its job. We don't have to, and vengeance isn't ours to deal with. We don't want the energy. We don't want to take it on, and karma happens. It'll be taken care of. Everything always gets taken care of. So keep your heart open was the message, and allow this love in. Allow this, and once it does, is what they're saying. The blue heron, once they allow this love in, what comes is absolute bliss. It's amazing when blue herons come together, and they have this. They've got this. They found the balance between time spent alone and time being together. They will need to, especially if you have two blue herons coming together, they will need to have quiet time alone. They will need to have private time that where they do well that way. But they will find, and what's interesting is they believe this. You know, they hesitate to get into a relationship or to live with somebody because they're concerned that I'm used to living on my own. I've been alone for 10 years. And I'm used to, you know, I don't know how I would be to live with a roommate. How will it be? But it's different. When you find your counterpart, it's going to be different. You won't know that until you come together. But you'll probably, even though you will have times that you're definitely going to want to have your time alone, you're probably going to find that it's not the way it has always been. Because you have now come to a place of harmony and balance, and you have connected with somebody that's we draw to us who we're supposed to have in our lives for lessons or for blessings. And once we've come to this balance and harmony, this is now all about the blessings. So it's like a co-nurturing and a respect of each other's individual freedom and independence, because they understand that in each other. And when that balance is there, the beauty is so amazing that this is a true soul connection. And I do need to bring something up, and this is what I want to talk about earlier, what I was trying to say. The blue heron person, the gift that a blue heron person has is the ability to tap into the other side. They have the ability to tap into ones that have passed over, and some have that's what their gift is. Some have a lot more than that. I have done that several times. I wasn't actually understanding that was what was happening with me, and it's very overwhelming when it happens. I'm trying to think now how many times, like where I've had like someone has passed away in a car accident, and another person had an accidental overdose, and another person, it was just their father coming through. But when they came through me, the energy, the emotion was so overwhelming and intense that my body, what my body went through was, I can't explain it to you. The grief, I felt the grief and the extreme, distraught, absolute overwhelming pain of the person who accidentally overdosed. I felt the same of the person who was killed in a car accident, the grief that he felt that he left his family behind, and the sorrow. It came through me because, it's interesting because I experienced the dreams probably a year and a half ago, and I just recently realized who it was that I was supposed to give the message to, the family member, and I delivered my message, and that, you know, I didn't choose this. It's just something that came to me, and there's a lot of things that I didn't choose that were gifts that have turned into a curse. So you have to, it's not going to stay a curse. I have to manage it. So what's going on is some blue heron people will have the gift of automatic writing, where they will start to write and someone else will come through them. Basically, you're a channel. And for me, I'm a vessel that when I go into a deep sleep, it's a trance that basically verbal messages and visual messages come through me, and I watch. But I have to be very careful. And as I said, I didn't know that this was happening, and so I wasn't protecting myself properly. And when you're open like that, you're sleeping, you're not aware. And if you haven't protected yourself, you are allowing negative or lower vibrational energies to get in and manipulate aspects of your life. So for me, as I said to you, with my twin soul, he's very gifted, and he knew he was very gifted. I didn't understand what was happening with me for a really long time, and I started with the prophetic dreams, and it was very confusing. I've taught you guys about this before, because I saw things sometimes a year in advance, and like I knew where I was going to live in Wisconsin. I saw my apartment, I saw the people, I knew all of it before I even got there. And when it happens, it's overwhelming, you know. So I got used to that type of deal. But then when I connected with my twin soul, and it was somebody that I've known for many, many years, and we both had our awakening around the same time, and we didn't know it. We hadn't been in contact with one another, and then we reconnected when I was in Sedona. Now, when I was in Sedona, I was in a very peaceful place. I was very, very balanced and centered, because I was completely on my own, and I wasn't around anybody else's energy, and I was working in the energy with spirit, so I was very much in a good place when we connected. So vibrationally we came together, which makes sense. He'd had his awakening as well, and he was very gifted, and it took a couple years before we saw each other again. And like I said, he would say to me, "Open up, I'm channeling you," and I didn't think I could do what he did. But then he went away to do his work. I haven't seen him in almost 3 years, and unfortunately what happened was I started seeing, I started appearing places that I would just show up places. I didn't even know where I was or what I was seeing. All I know was I saw things that scared me for him. I saw things that I thought were happening. I saw movies, basically. I saw acting. I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure what I saw. I didn't know if I was seeing an act playing out, because I would see movie scripts, and I would see actors, and I would see, it would go from like gangster stuff to like military stuff to like, I don't want to tell you all the stuff that I saw. And I know that he was aware of it, because at one time, I didn't even know it had anything to do with him, but at one time I saw this scene going on, and I was wandering around this big mansion, and I was watching this happen, and I heard it was like a violent situation, and I was worried, I was concerned for somebody, and I went into this bathroom, and I said, "I've got a rock, I'll get you if you don't stop." And because somebody was getting hurt, a girl was getting hurt, is what I saw, or what I heard. I didn't see anything. I heard. I was walking around outside, and so now Lily wanted back inside the house when I said that. She wanted away from here, so I've got to understand what that means for me. When I walked into the bathroom, I saw my twin, and he was sitting on the bathtub, and this other person was looking into the mirror. The scene that I saw, that I heard, that wasn't happening. It was like it was an act. It was like it was a scene being shot, and you're outside the bathroom and you're hearing all of this go on, but when you go into the bathroom, he's just sitting on the side of the tub, and this person is looking into the mirror, looking at their eyes. And when I looked at him, he looked straight at me, and he said, "Hello, Mrs. Columbus," which is weird. I never understood why he said Mrs. Columbus, because I'm not married. Maybe it was to get my attention, but he wasn't happy. It was like, "You're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here?" And I thought, I don't know why I'm here. I didn't mean to be here. I had no idea what was happening. And what it is, it's when we get these gifts opened up to us, they come at us, and my gifts are so powerful that I didn't realize the strength of my own power, my own gifts, and I wasn't managing it, and I wasn't controlling it. And so I was allowing, because I was this open channel, I didn't know how to shut it down. So I was open to him, and clearly he was open to me, otherwise I wouldn't be allowed in there. But I was going places that I wasn't supposed to be, and I wasn't sleeping, because like I said, I haven't slept in 2.5 years, because I've been worried sick about him because of the things that I thought I was seeing. I wasn't sure what was symbolic, I wasn't sure what was literal, and it didn't matter, because it was all night long, every night in my dreams. And I tried to detach, I tried everything, and maybe it's because it's a twin soul, it's different. Other people say, someone said to me this morning, "You can rewrite your soul contract and write them out," and he's having his own life, doing his own thing. I do my thing, he does his own thing, and I don't mean to interrupt or go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to see this, but because I was seeing the things that I thought that I was seeing, I was worried that he was hurting. And so I opened myself up. I wanted to help him. I gave him my energy. So I opened my energy up to his. He didn't ask for it. He's not pulling my energy from me on purpose. I was willingly giving my energy because I felt like he was hurting. He was in pain, he was being hurt, and I needed to be strong. As the other twin, it's just a natural instinct. It just comes. It's unconditional love. And I know that Spirit said to me, "This is going to be the most difficult thing you've ever had to do." And I thought I thought what I was getting was sharing my energy, because you're not supposed to share your energy. Probably what they were trying to explain to me, or what my higher self was trying to explain to me, is learning how to detach physically and healthfully. And I've talked to you guys about this before, and I told you I made the decision to do this, but I haven't been able to do it because I have gotten so run down that my body wasn't strong enough to break the connection. And I'm now going to talk to you guys about, my body is literally in full adrenal failure. And I found that out because my skin started to, it feels like crepe paper. It's very thin. And I thought, what is going on? My mom's skin was better than, like at 70, had skin better than, I have had beautiful skin my whole life, but what's happening? I thought it was this new skin regime. I was panicking. The poor girl, she's like, God. When I drink water, my body is not getting enough water. Even when I drink, it's thirsty. And finally, I was, I haven't been sleeping. Like I said, I get only a couple hours of sleep a night. I've got black circles under my eyes, and I'm like, what is going on? And in these dreams, all night long, constantly, and I want to shut it down. And I know he doesn't want me in his life. He doesn't want me interfering, and I don't mean to be there. I don't mean to see it. I apologize. It's not something I want to do. I'm saying all this to you because I know there are other people that are going through it. People end up in the mental hospital because they don't realize what they're hearing or what they're seeing or why their body is reacting this way, because they've had this awakening and these gifts are opening up and they don't know how to handle them. They're not managing them. So before you allow your body to break down, make sure that you shield and protect yourself. See yourself in a golden shield. A golden shield, because a golden shield allows the love to go through, because I want my twin to have my unconditional love. But I don't want his pain or his issues. I don't want him to have mine. I can't carry that energy, and I don't want to go where I'm not meant to go. It's not okay. And I don't mean to cross people's boundaries. I don't want that. So if you put a golden shield up, unfortunately, I've only now realized this. And as I said, his energy must be low as well, because he's allowed me in, or maybe he's calling me in. I don't know. But I am saying it's enough. When I went to see somebody at, like I said, Spirit showed me, all of a sudden, I don't know how I was led to it. It was Spirit led to it because I was desperate. And I started to read, and I found adrenal, when your body's in adrenal failure. I had a hysterectomy probably 25 years ago, emergency hysterectomy, which was already, would throw my hormones off. Adrenal failure, when you're not getting enough water, you're not able to absorb the water, you start having difficulty sleeping, and it didn't just become because of my gifts opening, because of that. That's not what caused it. 3 years ago, overnight, I became a vegetarian. Overnight, I stopped eating meat, and I didn't know what I was doing. My twin is a vegetarian. He would have been able to help me, but he wasn't around, and I just kind of started eating like a gerbil. I wasn't eating properly. I didn't know what to do. I go to the grocery store. I don't know what to eat. I didn't know what to eat. And I found, when I went, there's a woman that I know. She's like a grandma. And I finally reached out to her when I started to realize my body was in adrenal failure, which shows the crepey skin, the dry skin, the inability to hold the water, the inability to sleep at night, which makes me not able to hold my boundaries strong. It disrupted sleep. Because I was able to have lucid dreams before, and they were wonderful, but now when I'm not able to sleep properly, I'm constantly in a working dream all night long, and my body's just going everywhere. So when I went to see her, I walked up and I told her, I said, I know I'm in adrenal failure, and I knew the different things that I was supposed to get, and I went to get adrenal support that I had run out of. And then I said I became a vegetarian 3 years ago, and she looked at me and she said, that's what it is. She said, your body is starving. Your body you're not giving, what do you eat? And I told her, she's just like, basically I've been killing myself because my body has not been having enough fat. It hasn't had enough protein. I didn't know how to feed my body properly. So, all of these, she says, what do you eat? And I said 0% yogurt. And she's like, God, man. And she goes, okay, I want you to put butter in your oatmeal. I want you to have cheese as a snack. I want you to have whole yogurt. I want you to have 2 eggs a day. If you're not going to have meat, you have to have the essential fatty, and the proper fats. You have to have this, and this, all these things that I wasn't having. And because I wasn't having this, my body started to break down. My skin, you can see it. It will help. Hopefully I'll be able to get it back, because I'm really depressed that my skin has gotten really, really dry and really crepey and thin. But it is full adrenal failure. And what comes from that is what happened to my skin. It literally looks loose. My body, I'm thin, my body's in great shape physically, and I'm very, very strong. And because I work with spirit constantly, my body has handled it this long, but it's gotten to the place where it can't go on anymore. And thank God I was pointed in the right direction. And so I've started to feed my body what it needs to get. And she also told me that with the full adrenal support, I take a super green powder twice a day, alkaline water, keep your body alkaline, don't drink just purified water, which is what I was drinking. So lemon in my water, which I love, which is good because that's what I always had before. I've stopped doing that because I ran out of lemons, so back for that. I'm giving you all this because this is important for you guys. Cheese strings, organic cheese strings, that was my snack. A yogurt this morning. You know, you don't have to eat a lot, but you got to eat something, you know, and you got to feed your body the proper things. She said she wants me to report back in 2 weeks, and she says within 4 nights of you taking the adrenal support morning and evening, and eating the way I've asked you to eat, and with your super green, she goes, you're going to have, in about 4 nights, you're going to sleep through the night. You're going to sleep really well. And that'll be my first night's sleep in almost 3 years. Because when my twin just disappeared, that's when this all started. And that it'll be the first time in that long. So if I had not allowed myself to give up my energy, if I had not allowed myself to be so open, if I had known how to shut down my boundaries way back then, if I had eaten properly, these are all coming together. If I was feeding my body properly, I would have been able to hold my boundaries. If I was any of those things, if it all out of harmony, all at the one time, everything gone, I wasn't doing anything that I was supposed to do. So all of it resulted in my boundaries being open. That's why the mockingbird was saying, I kept getting, don't invite anybody else in. I was dreaming. Anyone that I was around, I was taking on their life. I literally was dreaming. I can tell you everything that was happening in my landlord's life, my neighbor's life, because I dreamed it. I was such an open channel. And I had a friend that's got a little boy. He's I think Derek's probably 5 now, and that was a problem. He's a channel. He's a little guy, and she said he was having all this stuff coming through him, and it's funny because I said to her at the time, probably a year ago, I said, you know, you need to do this for him because he's too little to understand it. Well, my body was too weak to do it, but you need to tell Derek, you need to shut that channel, turn that channel off, because he's an open channel and it's allowing all this stuff to come in. So I was having all of this, my channel was an open channel coming in. Everybody was coming in and out of my dreams. It was interwoven between even what I was seeing in my twin's life that I thought was reality was probably being interwoven with others coming in, and it wasn't my choice, it was just happening. But because I was so concerned and connected to this person, I allowed it, thinking I was going to be strong and help him when it probably had nothing even to do with him. So I've had another message that Spirit kept trying to show me. They kept telling me that because they kept giving me this song called Scars to You're Beautiful. And it kept talking about people killing themselves to be beautiful. You know, you're beautiful just the way you are, even with your scars. But what one of the messages in the song that I kept was, you're killing yourself. You're literally killing yourself. One of the words was, you're starving yourself to death. And I thought, okay, well, I don't do that. I'm not one of these people who starves themselves so I have a, you know, perfect body. But I was starving my body. That was the message that I was getting. So pay attention to the message that Spirit brings to you. They come in many different ways. You got to ask what the different meanings of them are. For each person, it's a different message, right? So for me, it wasn't about that I was starving my body so I could have a model thin body. I was literally starving my body of protein and of fats that I needed. Also, in my house, I borrowed my landlord's. Think about that. This is my house. My landlord, I'm in his house. I borrowed his DVD player because my Bluetooth, for some reason, he got a new system in the house and mine won't line up. So I had to borrow his. Well, every night, even though it's turned off, the machine keeps opening and shutting, opening and shutting. It was going all night long, the hard drive. So there was something broken with my landlord's hard drive. So basically it was showing me that the hard drive wasn't even mine, was opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing all night long. And all night long, when it was closed, I was good, but when it would open, something would come in. So I got up this morning and it did it again, and I thought, I want it out of my room. You're out of my room, because I don't care. It's a physical manifestation that is being played out in my room. I'm allowing this to happen, and I'm not going to allow this anymore. So that thing is outside of my room. If you understand what I'm saying in that. Okay, what else? Mockingbird. That's why the mockingbird was talking to me. Defend your boundaries. Defend your boundaries. Oh, I understand. I keep getting friend requests, and I've got to tell you again, I'm not accepting any friend request. I will not add anyone. I have way too much. My boundaries are shut down. I'm shutting down my boundaries. I have to shut my doors. I energetically am shutting off my work. I don't work the hours that I used to work. I was working all the time. That's another message. Workaholics, workaholics. You want something in your life and it's not coming, you're working all the time, you need to find balance. Balance, this is my issue as the blue heron. I needed to find balance between work and play. I worked all the time. I wasn't playing at all, and my body was breaking down. My mind, you need to play. You need to relax. You need to let work go, or you're going to be off balance and it's going to throw everything out of whack. So I had all of these balance issues happening all at the same time. Now, I'm using myself as an example, and I sound like a terrible teacher, don't I? I'm not actually. I'm actually a really good teacher, and I'm not a complete basket case. But I use myself as my tool. I am the tool. I understand it. I know what happened to me, and I'm going to share it with you so that you don't have to have it happen to you. Okay? So now I know what I'm doing. I'm feeding my body. My channel is shut down. I love my twin. I send him unconditional love, but I have taken back my energy. I give him back his. I am not an open channel to anyone. When I choose to channel, when I'm working, and after I do that, I will shut down my channel. I am not an open channel ever anymore, ever again. And I state that because when we want to talk about, I was saying, I wasn't able to do this. Well, that's because I kept stating that. Yes, I am. If I am that powerful that I'm able to channel people from spirit, I'm able to channel other people's lives, I'm able to literally walk into somebody else's life and see it a year in advance, I am certainly capable of shutting down my own channel. I am a powerful spiritual being. So I am stating to the universe, I am not an open channel. I take control of my own body. I don't need to ask Archangel Michael to do it for me. He can assist me. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I am taking control of my life. This is my life. I affirm that very strongly, and I would suggest that you affirm it very strongly in your life as well. Okay, so then we're going to go to our cards, finally. They do all segue into this, which is interesting. The first card makes sense to me with what we've been talking about. Because I'm an Aries dragon, and see this woman, she's got her dragon next to her. Well, the dragon also represents my twin soul, the spiritual aspect of my twin soul. I've always seen him. My dragon has always been with me. But the dragon is also my inner self and your inner self, this woman's inner self. And it talks about taming the dragon. So, tame your own dragon. It's talking about forgiveness. Now, why forgiveness when we're talking about this dragon? Because the dragon can be your friend, and the dragon can be something that's out of control. And at this time, she looks very peaceful. The colors are purple, very powerful, strong spiritual color. She's got the sun and the moon above her is what I'm seeing. The sun, the divine masculine, the feminine, the divine feminine, and the moon above her. The moon to me represents psychic, prophetic visions, dreaming, what we've been talking about. The stars mean something specifically to me with my twin as well. But to me, it talks about reaching for the stars, expecting more for yourself, not less. Shoot for the stars. It also, I'm trying to think of all the different things. The color of the gold. Remember, I told you the shield. She's keeping a shield a golden shield, because the shield of gold allows the love to go out, while not compromising her and allowing unwanted energies to come in. So Kuan Yin is the goddess of compassion. So this is Kuan Yin walking in compassion and mercy, and she walks with the dragon at her feet. Okay, so the dragon is her pet. She radiates love and compassion towards everything. This is the love and compassion. Now, empathy. Empathize, compassionate. That doesn't mean you take people's pain on. It means you empathize, and you are very compassionate and loving, and you are forgiving. She has tamed this dragon, and now her dragon follows her in devotion. This dragon hasn't... Before, I didn't have control of my dragon. I am a dragon. I literally am more than just a dragon. I'm an Aries dragon, but I had not control of my dragon. So now I'm taking control. She has tamed her dragon, and now her dragon can become her strongest ally. Now, as my twin, In spirit, he always walks beside me. He is my dragon, and I am sure walk beside him as his dragon. So they follow one another with devotion. So what she's showing up for right now is there is a situation in your life that is in need of healing. And forgiveness is essential in this relationship or in this situation. Forgiveness is essential for the healing to take place. So you're not condoning another one's actions, whatever they've done that may have hurt you. You're not condoning it, you're forgiving it. And you're forgiving it so that you can release the ongoing attachment. Now, it's not my twin's fault what happened to me with him, and it's not my fault what happened between us. I apologize. I am sorry. And I ask for his forgiveness. And I forgive him for what happened between the two of us. That's my personal message. Is there another aspect in your life that is in need of forgiveness? Is there someone else in your life that is in need of forgiveness? They may not have come to you for forgiveness, but you must ask for forgiveness. You must give this forgiveness in order to release yourself from the attachment and set yourself free, because otherwise you don't have this dragon walking next to you as your companion. You have this dragon riding you, attacking you. I was shown this by spirit. I saw the dragon in the sky. I've seen the dragon in my dreams over and over and over again, the dragon. And I guess I was being shown I needed to tame my dragon. Get control of your dragon, Sherry. Get control of the energy that you have, because it's very powerful and it can be very, very helpful and beneficial, but it can be very damaging to myself. So for you as well, if you have a dragon inside of you, which could be unforgiveness. Remember I said when I was walking around and I was talking about opening your heart, and I said vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Somebody has, because somebody feels this anger, somebody has this vengeance, this vengeful attitude inside of them, and as long as they hold that attitude, they will never be at peace. They must let go of this anger and forgive whatever it was that was done, allow karma to run its course, and forgive the situation. It's not saying what you're condoning what the person has done, you're just allowing it to go. You're detaching from it so that you don't carry that pain or that weight, so that you can move forward in a healthy manner. So the next message that we have, I'm going to move my crystal over here because it was moving around. Okay, divine guidance. This goes along with what we were getting from, was it the mockingbird? When the mockingbird spoke about, listen, it's fine and well to listen to someone else's information and to learn from what someone else has to say, but you need to trust in your own guidance. We have our own inner guidance. Remember? We don't have to have Archangel Michael do everything for us. We don't have to constantly call upon your mentor or your guides, and you can reach inside of yourself. This is, again, the divine feminine. We all have the divine feminine, the moon energy, the goddess energy. This is the kundalini. We all have the power of our chakras. We all have the connection to the earth, to Gaia. We have this power within us, have divine guidance. So they're asking you to look within, go down deep into your belly, into your gut, and follow your intuition, your inner guidance at this time. Listen to your heart. That's why we spoke of, these are the colors of the heart chakra. Green and the pink, those are the colors of the heart chakra. That's the incense that was chosen today. So they want you to listen, follow your inner guidance, follow your instincts, trust your gut feeling, go down deep inside, even if it feels strange or unusual. You don't know why you're going in a certain direction. When I found the information on the adrenal support, I can't even remember how it happened, but when I was getting my pedicure, because Spirit said it's enough working and go out and go play. So I went and I got my nails done my toenails done yesterday, and I was how I followed my hunches. I laughed at the time, and I can't remember right now what it was, but it was ridiculous how I found myself going there. But I pay attention to what my inner guidance is saying, because I'm connected. We are all connected. Pay attention to what your inner guidance is telling you, even if it doesn't make sense to you. So sometimes what we need to do is step away from the noise of everyone else. Go into nature, right? Go into meditation because it's dark here. Go down into your gut. Go down deep. Explore what you are energetically drawn to. Go down deep. Stop, listen. Stop and really feel deep, deep, deep inside, because the greatest wisdom you have is here and here and here. This is your third eye. This is your heart. This is your gut. Pay attention. This is where our deepest wisdom comes from. It's powerful. These messages are coming to us from Spirit, so it's not like Spirit is saying to us, you know, well, she's making us obsolete. No, we have the ability to help ourselves. Remember, God helps those who help ourselves. We're teachers, ones that are awakened. We have this gift. We have many gifts, and we have the ability to find our own answers. We have the ability to heal ourselves. We have the ability to. So when I'm falling apart, look, I'm thinking, I got to find something to heal myself. I found it. And now, clearly, I'm sure I was guided. And I asked, I didn't ask specifically because I didn't know what I was asking for. I just started paying attention to what was coming up. So, it's not sacrilegious or blasphemy for me to say that you're relying too heavily on God, or you're relying too heavily on your guides, or you're relying too heavily on your mentors, or on your cards. You know, a lot of times your cards, women do this a lot. I know guys do too, but women do it a lot. Your energy will affect what your reading says. So you need to be careful when you read for yourself. Reading for others, and when I'm doing my work, I'm channeling for someone else. But you got to be careful when you look at your cards, because like I said, there's many different messages that can come from the same cards, and sometimes you're relying too heavily on what a card says, and you're not listening to what your inner self is saying. The card, I've done a reading before where I've put the cards down, like for myself, and I've looked at that and I thought, that's totally not right. That is not right. I'm throwing that away. It doesn't apply to me. And I will tell you that this morning, when I was first learning, and I was given a message from Spirit to speak, and I didn't pick that one because I was uncomfortable, I kept getting the same message again and again. That Spirit saying to me, look, this is a message that we want you to deliver right now. This is somebody needs this. Like today, divine guidance, I got it 4 times because I kept asking, and the messages that I was getting, I looked at that and I thought, no, that doesn't align with me. It doesn't align with me right now. That's not what's supposed to be spoken about right now. I am to the point now where I hear I hear the messages. That's my problem, is I hear them really loud, and my animal messengers are very, very loud. And so I will tap into my animal messengers. I will tap into my inner knowing, my heart chakra. I will, when my body gets chills, that's a message. When your body gets a chills, like a chills or a hot flush, you can't fake that. You can't make that happen or manipulate that. Like, say, people have said to me, oh, you're just picking that card because, or whatever. Okay, but if I'm sitting there and I'm listening to a song and all of a sudden my body gets a cold chill, I know that applies to me. I can't make myself do that. I can't make my body have the hair on my arm stand up, or me get a chill, or get a warm flush. It's a physical reaction. My higher self is telling me, listen, when there's a warm flush, it's a negative feeling. Wow, the biggest, most beautiful dragonfly just flew by. Now see a beautiful dragonfly. Hold on to your dreams. They're valid. Pay attention to dreams. You're getting messages that are valid. Okay, I understand that. Control your dreams. See past the illusion. That's what I needed to see, right? I was seeing all kinds of stuff in my dreams, but see past the illusion of what you think you're seeing. Let it go. But that was a beautiful dragonfly. It was huge. By the time I turned it around, you wouldn't have seen it. Okay, so it's not blasphemy that I said that. The last card that we're this is the longest reading in the world. The last card that we're getting is Answered Prayer. And here we see this girl, which I love. We've got the color of the blue heron, right? And what do we talk about? The blue heron color it represents tranquility and peace, harmony, and the fact that she's got a butterfly at her center. The butterfly is in full transformation. So you have maybe been through have been going through a very big transformation in your life, and it's in your solar plexus, your seat of motivation. What does she have? She has wings like a butterfly with the color, but she's got the colors of the rainbow. There's all kinds of things I want to point out to you as far as animal messengers here. If you look up really close, hopefully you can see it. She's got ladybugs on her wings. Ladybugs talk about wishes fulfilled. Friends of mine have been speaking about the ladybug quite a bit for the last few days. Ladybug Ladybug Totem. I'll put her full message with this reading. What else are we seeing here? The colors of the rainbow. So after difficult times, a promise of good to come after a difficult time. Again, she's got the blue peaceful tranquility, harmony, which I love. And she's got that gold, the color of gold, which is a shield of protection. The gold, which keeps her protected, but allows the love to come out. And you see the love radiating from her heart, right from the center of her being, sending out. So the universe, basically what it's talking about right now, an answered prayer. The universe has listened and has heard your call for help. Your prayer is soon going to be answered. They're telling you to expect something now, and this is what I love. When they tell you to expect something, you can expect it. They're saying expect a pleasant surprise in the coming weeks. Now, who doesn't want a pleasant surprise? I want a pleasant surprise. Thank you. I want peace, I want harmony, and I want a pleasant surprise. So I'm expecting it. We're supposed to expect a pleasant surprise. The butterfly reflects the positive transformation, right? The transformation that you're going through, even though it's been very, very challenging. What I've gone through, this has been a life lesson for me. Very, very powerful life lesson. And right when I say that, my buddy, the mockingbird, starts singing at the top of her lungs. It's been a very, very, very difficult, as Spirit told me, this will be the most challenging thing you've ever had to undergo. And it has been the most challenging, painful, difficult 3 years of my entire life. And I've been through a lot. But it has been massive lessons. I feel very, very blessed for all that I've learned. And we have a dove that just did a circle above us right now, which talks about peace and harmony and prophecy, which I just asked for, the peace and harmony. So there's confirmation for that, double confirmation about pleasant surprise coming. Listen to our guide. And over there we see the giant. You probably just see him as a dot, but it's the vulture, the California condor, which talks about death, rebirth, and transformation. So we're talking about a full transformation here, that positive transformation now taking place in your life. This angel is representing all of spirit, and they have heard your heartfelt, coming from your heart, the whispers of your heart. They have heard your heart. She knows your dreams. See, now this gets to me because they know what I've been through. They know, and when they talk about that she knows your dreams, the dragonfly says to hold on to your dreams, that your dreams are valid and you deserve to see them fulfilled, and that you can trust in what you're getting. But also for me, the fact that Spirit has seen my dreams and has seen what I've been going through. My answered prayer, I've already gotten my answer, and I know what to do now to take care of myself and to protect myself. And I recognize what an amazing transformation that this has been. And I'm grateful that this is the work that I do every single day, so that I have been strong enough to be able to handle this and go through this transformation. And so for you, whatever you've been going through, whatever pain and frustration and confusion, and you feel like, where's my answer? They have heard you. Your answer is coming. And you're going to get some kind of a blessing, some kind of positive a sign that will show you, that will prove to you that what I'm saying is the truth. They're going to give you something. Okay, that's the pleasant surprise that you're going to get in the coming weeks. They also understand your fears are and your worries. It says that they're basically saying we now answer. We listen and we answer you. And at this point, we want you to listen and allow. We want you to allow, like I said this morning, this is amazing to me. Like I said this morning, when I lit the heart chakra incense, that's what I kept saying. I allow love. I'm going to open my heart. I'm going to allow love in. I'm going to allow love in. The blue heron totem that has felt disappointed and has been rejected and has been cheated and has been betrayed by the ones that should have been able to trust and that they loved, is now going to open their heart chakra. They're going to allow the love to come in because they're literally starving for love. God, sorry. So my body, I have been starving my body. Liger is my twin's cat. soul cat. And this morning, my landlord said, "What's with him?" And I said, "He's starving for love. He's starving. He needs my affection so badly that he doesn't know how to express it. And he bites me. He's just starving for love." So the ones that are starving for love, you need to open your heart and allow love in, because you're starving. You're starving your heart. Just like I was starving my body. I hope you understand how important that is. That message. You are needing to listen to what Spirit is saying. And you need to open your heart and allow that to come to you. And Spirit is saying that they will fill your heart with love and joy. And they will remind you that you are never alone. We are never alone. Spirit is always with us. They want you to embrace it. You know what my twin said to me? He said, "When it comes to you, don't push away what your soul has been longing for. Embrace it." He said that to me. Embrace it. You embrace it. Don't push away what your soul has been longing for. Open your arms, open your heart, and embrace the love that is calling to you. Embrace the love that Spirit and the love that the wings that they are wrapping around you at this time. The wings of light. And recognize that she loves you unconditionally. It's truth and it's real. That love is unconditional, and you can trust that love. At this point, the angel that is speaking to you, or whoever it is that this is representing in your life right now, it is an all-embracing, unconditional love that is being extended to you. It does not drain them. It does not drain you. It does not attach to you. It is just pure, unconditional, heartfelt love being poured out by the God Goddess to you. Open your heart, embrace it, allow it to come in and fill you and heal you. And that's the end of this incredibly emotional reading. I hope that it was of benefit for you. It was needing to be said. It had to come out. I'm going to just leave it at that, because it's probably one of our longer readings. I'm going to let you guys take a look around my beautiful lake. It's windy, see? I would have been losing my cards all over the place on the water. And it's so hot, and the wind is able to cool at least the heat down. That's a blessing. So if you would like to follow me, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Google+, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Angels Whisper Sherry Columbus on Facebook. My website is www.theangelswhisper.com. If you would like help with dream analysis, with life coaching, with a private reading, I'm a long-distance Reiki master. I'm very, very good at what I do. Don't allow my sharing of my challenges to let you have any concern with the ability of my gifts. That's peace and harmony. I love it, the dove. So I wish you well. I wish you love and light, and I wish you golden light from the sun. You know what? Today would be a good time to do a sun meditation, to look up into the sky and allow that golden energy to fill your heart and fill your entire being, and take away any of the negative energy that may be around, any of the fear, worry, or doubt. Pull that golden ray energy in and use that as your shield. That's what I just did. That's the golden shield that is around me. And you know, as the divine feminine, that's why I'm calling on my divine masculine, who is the sun, as my protection. I need my divine masculine to protect me, because that's the golden energy that needs to go around me, that will still allow my love to go out and heal, while not allowing the other to cross my boundaries. So you do the same. Solar meditations are incredibly powerful. I've got my rose quartz out here sucking up the energy of the sun. I've had it all here all day. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. I love you all. Bye.